watching The Sports Spin, presented by Uintah Basin Healthcare. Health and healing, every person, every time.
Welcome to The Sports Spin, your weekly dose of sports action, presented by Uintah Basin Healthcare. Mark Mason, John Nurden. We watch the games, we call the games, and now we get to spin the games.
Well, John, you know, you got up your vest game here on the Sports Spin, but guess what? It's baseball season in the Week Rewind, and who's going to beat the Parker Circus in the Monster Plays? And later on, Coach Hoops joins us from Duchesne High School in the spin cycle. But right now, it's time for the Week Rewind. Well, here we are on the Week Rewind, and John, we had a busy week this week. Let's get right after it. Let's just start. St. George, Uintah Soccer. I got to go down there as a spectator. I know you were down there coaching. You played the defending 4A state champion. You played the third seed, the third place team, and you also played a private school.
Private school who placed second in a shoot-off in 2A last year.
Right, so I mean,
they're going to compete as well in Waterford.
High-level competition. You go 2-1. The one game you lose, that's a game that could go either way. It's 2-1 final score. I mean, Uintah basically said we're here. We
did, and you know, we played really well. We scored 9 goals so far this year. Soccer's here to stay, making a presence in 4A now. We do feel like we could have competed right with Timpanogos, who was the team we lost to down there 2-1.
Lost to Timpanogos. And the bearded beauty, he'll be later on the Monster Plays, London Wells. Does he still lead 4A in
he
scoring
doesn't.
right now?
Provo took that over. They have a kid who's scored 3 goals in each of 2 games, so he's got 6 goals. London's got 4. A goal a game, not bad. That'll last if he can continue that streak. That'll last through the year.
Yeah, so Uintah Soccer going to 4A, not intimidated. Let's move on. Next was Union Soccer. They played a Carbon team and Payson. They split those games. You'll see on the highlights here. Playing on the natural grass in the freezing cold. This is when the cold snap hit.
And this is not Carbon. This is Payson, a game in which they lost 3-2, but they did get 2 goals. They're kind of back on track, so they're 2 ties now and 1 loss. So, you know, that's a tough game against a good team, a 4A team who moved up this year. Union's here to play soccer this year, and they're playing good.
Yeah, and then a team in their region, Carbon, I believe is in their region.
Yes,
and they won that game. Oh, they tied that game. And so ties count.
Mark, they also didn't have their best, well, I shouldn't say their best, but one of their starting defenders was unavailable. He had to go to an FAA competition, something with farmers. I'm not sure exactly what. But he's back to soccer this week, and he's going to take care of business.
Got to get his priorities straight, that young man. But any farmer out there will probably disagree with me. Let's go back across the basin to Uintah High School. The Utes went down to Farmington, New Mexico with the baseball team, and they were basically world beaters down there.
No, they played great. They lost 1 game down there, Mark. They won 3. They lost 1.
Not only did they win, they're shutting people out in these games.
They are shutting them out.
And you see the big bat there on the highlight screen. These kids were hitting. They were pitching. Their defense is doing it. Their offense is doing it. Last year, a little bit disappointing in the playoffs. You know, they went in really hot, and then just, again, the cold bats, the cold pitching, and, you know.
You know, and talking to Coach, they thought a lot about their pitching, and they weren't sure how their pitching was going to work this year. But winning multiple games in a row means that their pitching's going pretty dang good for them. So good looking for the Utes. Good preseason, good start in Farmington. We also had another team with a great baseball program in the Union baseball, and they didn't start out so well this year. Kind of a little lackluster.
Well, and that was kind of fun too. We were down in St. George watching soccer. I look up and I see the gold and black. I know the Cougars are in town. I went over and got to watch some of their baseball games. Unfortunately for the Cougars, they went down St. George, and not a lot worked for them real well. They ran into, this was against Logan, and you know, the Logan team just, they got up 6-0 in the first inning, and the Cougars couldn't battle back, end up 1-4 on that tournament. And, you know, slow start, but we expect them to turn that around, especially when they get into their region play.
Yep, a little slow start, but here we go. All right, we're going to turn a little bit to softball now. You had 2 softball teams starting out with four wins each in Union and Uintah. Both teams with 4 wins. Union with 4 losses and Uintah with 2 losses. And then you have Altamont, who lost pretty bad, and it's the only game we can see. I'm not sure how their other 2 games went. They lost to Duchesne. Duchesne 2-0 with a great start to the season. A lot happened this week to get the spring season going. Girls golf, they're getting ready to start a match this upcoming week. They've had their tryouts. Lots happening.
Yeah, lots happening. And we love the softball. Now, anyone that's played baseball, you know, you're hitting it. It's a different angle. It's farther away. You have longer to read that ball. If you ever hit a fastball on softball, that ball's going up still when it crosses the plate. It's impossible to turn on it. But the Uintah girls especially are killing it this year, and they've got a little bit of an axe to grind from last year. We talked about that earlier. Well, John, what a heck of a week. That's why we love watching sports. There's always something going on. We're going to take a look now for the Monster Plays. I believe those are coming up. Let's take a look. Monster Plays. And here on the Monster Play, we're going to go with the King of the Mountain format. Bumping off the top spot, Trevor Allred from the Union Cougars. He got beat out by John Parker in this beautiful circus shot. We're calling it the Parker Circus. There goes Big Red off the glass, and Parker high up in the air tips it with one hand off the glass and in. Like an acrobat at the circus, he's our new champion, won 63% of the votes.
So that means get out and vote. Vote for your favorite play, and that'll help your team or your school or your play win this King of the Hill, Top of the Mountain, whatever we're going to call this. So we're going to the next one, the Bearded Beauty. This is a great soccer play from London Wells, who gets a great kick from the corner from Andrew Bestenliner, and then all head, and nothing but the back of the net. What a beautiful play.
I think my favorite part is Wells running off and hugging Bestie, saying, you served it up on a platter for me, buddy.
You know, and that's one thing about that team is they're a team. They're loving each other. It's not just one guy making that play. But well done for the Bearded Beauty. And then we have another play. This one, we call it Wyatt Riot for Wyatt Riemann. You know, Wyatt does a great job in this football game. As we called this game, all we could do is say, oh, and there's Wyatt Riemann, he does this, and there's Wyatt Riemann, he scores another touchdown, gets another reception. Well done, Wyatt Riemann. All of you down there in Duchesne, get out, get the vote out, see if he can be top of the mountain this week.
Yeah, and you can vote for us here on Twitter at The Sports Spin. You can vote for your favorite player, your favorite team, however you want to do it. Right now, reigning champion John Parker with the circus shot. Let's see if he gets dethroned this week or if the Utes hang on to that top spot. We're going to take a short break. Stick with us. We'll be back for the spin cycle.
Uintah Basin Medical Center now has a new 64-slice CT scanner, giving our patients superior imaging in a comfortable environment. Enjoy a positive patient experience with shorter scan times, improved patient access and positioning, and a video of relaxing scenes or cartoons for children. High detail, low dose features offer the ability to see the smallest diagnostic detail with up to a 60% dose reduction. When you need a CT scan, choose Uintah Basin Medical Center. You'll be glad you did.
We're back on the Sports Spin presented by Uintah Basin Healthcare. Now, let's go to the spin cycle.
Today on the spin cycle, we have Coach Hoops from Duchesne High School basketball. Good to have you out. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming, Coach. And Coach Hoops.
Yeah,
how does a guy that coaches basketball get a name like that? That's like the name lottery right there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse, honestly. So it doesn't mean anything as far as wins or losses. They all count the same. So.
Oh, well.
Well, all right. Here in the spin cycle, Coach, we like to ask you a few tough questions.
Okay.
First one I have for you is, what happened in the playoffs this year?
Oh, boy. So we came out strong, had a good first half, a good start to our third quarter, and then we kind of fell apart, had some mental mistakes and some coaching mistakes. I made a few mistakes, and we ended up getting in a tough spot and falling behind and losing a tough game the first day of the playoffs.
You know, and you have to play the games. You know,
Yeah.
Mark has said that several times. You have to play the games. And so if I heard you right, you're taking all the responsibility, none of the kids. So that's all coaching.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, it comes down to the coaches.
When you lose, it's coaching.
Yeah.
If you'd have won, it would have been the kids' doing.
Yeah,
Right?
I like to try to play it that way. So.
Well, you know, Coach, you had a successful season. I know, Tabiona's out in the first round, so you're kind of looking ahead in the bracket saying, dang, we got this. Didn't work out the way you wanted to. John and I were at a game earlier in the season where you went on the road to a 3A Union Cougar team, and you beat them on the road. I mean, you guys had a talented ball club this year.
Yeah, that's kind of how our season went. We were up and down at times, and the Union game we played really well as a team. Everybody on the team contributed, and I thought our bench was as big as anything in that game. Carson Reinhardt he really went off that game. I don't know that I've seen him play that well before or since then. Got hot, and he really kept us in it. But then everybody else, every role player who came in, even the Water Boys were doing a good job that game. So.
Well, and Union's such a high-energy team. They do that 1-3-1 trap in the corners.
Yeah.
You got to be on your A game to beat them, and that was great. We loved that game. It was one of our favorites to call this season.
It was a fun game to be a part of, and I'll tell you what, the other thing about Union is that gym is so loud. At the timeouts, and I could barely hear myself talk. In fact, a few times after the time I thought, I don't even know if they got one thing I said out of that.
Well, they never get anything you say.
Yeah.
So, we also watched a couple other games where you were close with Tabiona this year, and they're kind of the crosstown rival. Your gym was loud. It was busy. It was loud. Everybody was there. What do you have for them in store next year?
Well, both those games this year, I felt like we played well, and we were right there and just let it get away from us at the end. And next year, I think one thing we need to do, and I need to do a better job as a coach, is preparing us in situation at the end of the game situation, and really make sure our players are comfortable with any situation, whether you're up 5 or you're down 10. You can. I've seen a lot of crazy things in basketball. And our kids need to be comfortable in all those situations.
So maybe you invite the whole town to come and watch a practice and stimulate that just a little bit, because it was an electrifying atmosphere and a fun game, and good luck next year with them.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, in 1A you have to share athletes with the different sports. You also have to share coaches. You also coached football this year.
Yeah.
After so many years, state champion was kind of the signal of the Duchesne Eagles. What do you guys have to do? What's the steps? What things you have to do to get back to that level?
Well, one thing I think we need to do is, and honestly, these guys, I don't think people realize, I think we lost 3 games this year by a total of 6 points. And when you lose close games like that, it's all about consistency. And, we very well could have been right there playing for the state championship, and I think a lot of people realize that. And we've got to be consistent and stay the course. We can't try to get away from what's been successful for us in the past.
And you talk about that. We were at Weber State 2 years ago when you had the championship game, and it came down to a 4th down, 1 yard to go, 13-14. If they get that first down, and when you lose games, when you say 6 points, 3 games, it's one play.
Yeah.
You have to play every play the whole game right.
Yeah, and it's really true. And sometimes things don't go your way. Sometimes, in football especially, that's a game of inches. 6 inches is a big deal in football, whether or not you get 4 more downs, just a fumble. I really felt like we were a fumble away from being in the state championship this year. So, that's how sports go, though. I'm a big believer in having kids that are consistent. And sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, and you can't get away from what's been successful for you in the past. So.
Well, we appreciate you coming here to the Sports Spin. We put you through the spin cycle. We loved your answers. We want to thank Coach Billy Hoops for coming here, joining us this week. Stick around. We'll have a couple of Duchesne Eagle basketball and football players with us on the Fast Dash.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming. Welcome back. Let's get our calls of the week, Mark. So Weber State and Utah both got into the NCAA tournament. Both looked to do something well. One a little higher, one a little lower. What do you think about Weber, Mark?
Well, Weber always has that one player. You'll remember Damian Lillard of NBA fame. He played for Weber State. They always seem to find that one or two guys. And John, every year a 3 seed goes down. Why couldn't it be Weber State against Xavier? I'm calling that one as the upset in the brackets in the East region, that the 14th seed Weber is going to beat Xavier.
So I got to start writing these down because you make the rules however you want them, Mark. So I'm going to go against Weber. I went to Weber for a little while, had horrible grades there. I'm saying they lose in the first round, one and done.
Weber's out in the opening round.
Weber's out for me. Weber's in for you. I got it written down here.
You're going to write that down? Okay,
yes.
We'll go back to the recap from last week because I continue to beat John every week. We're going to go right to Utah. Utah gets in. They are the 3 seed, but they limp in. In the Pac-12 championship, they lost big to Oregon. I think the score was 88-57. However, it was the game against Oregon in January that set the Utes on their big run that helped them earn a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. So, who knows?
What do you got them?
I'm going to say win. They're playing a team nobody's heard of. I don't even know who it is. Oh, Fresno State. They haven't been in the tournament since 2001. That's a whole generation ago. They don't even know what it likes to feel to be in there. And the tournament, March Madness, high pressure. Very high pressure. So I got them beating Fresno State. In fact, I'm going to predict that they get to the Final 8 right now. Oh, you're in on the Final 8? Well, we'll see what happens. Let's keep going. We got 2 baseball teams to talk about. We got the Uintah Utes. They played 2 games. This is easy, John. The Utes 2-0. I'm going to go 2-0 and stick with you. All right. And then we got the Union Cougars also playing baseball. I saw the Cougars start. They're not really happy with the way their season starts. Unfortunately, sometimes that I don't know if you want to call it coldness carries over in the next games. I say they get off the schneid, win one of the games, but lose 1-1. You know, that's kind of a homer call. I'm going to go 0-2. I like them too. I want Union to do well. They're not playing great right now. 0-2 for these 2 games. Couple tough ones coming up. Okay, moving right along. Uintah soccer. This one's easy for me. They played Bear River and Maple Mountain. Both games are on the road? No, one's home, one on the road.
Both on the road. We're going to play Bear River at Wasatch because Bear River can't drive out to the Uintah Basin. Apparently, it's too expensive for their district to pay for a bus. Now they have to come anyway against Union. But we're going to play them at Wasatch High School. We're going to win that game pretty handily. We're going to win the other game on Tuesday. Toughest game of the year probably for us against Maple Mountain. Ranked number 4. Tough in our region. Sets the tone for our region. I got us winning both games. First one big, second one close. I got you winning both of those games, John. But the Utes, they're playing so well right now. Chelsea's getting relegated in the Premier League, and the Utes win both, and they get called up to the Premier League, taking Chelsea's spot. That's my call of the week. Okay, I'm going to write that one down too because I think I got you on that one. Well, let's review last week's call of the weeks before we go away. What did we have? We had girls softball. Girls softball. And that's my favorite call of the week last week because I'm pretty sure you called them at 7-0, and I had them at 6-1. And they ended up as 5-2.
So nobody wins that
So,
one.
yeah, exactly. So I got closer. So that's 1, John, and I think last week we pushed everything, so I'm up 1-0.
No, we won. We had it. Mark Mason winning. That's 2 weeks in a row that I've won. Let's go to the next one because we had Union Soccer, and I think you said something like they were going to win 8 games. They only played 2. They lost 1-1. I had them tying a game and losing a game.
I think you had them at 2-2. It was a preseason call, and they did lose one and they tied one. So there's no way you can win that because they can't win and lose both if they've got a tie in there.
Checking with the committee of 1, and that's me. Oh, it looks like Mark Mason did win that one. The beard is never wrong. Stick with me all year if you want to find out for sure. I guess we'll say that one's a push.
It's a little push, huh? Okay, I'll go with push on that.
So if we're keeping track at home, 3 weeks running, Mason 1, Mason 2, Nerdin 1. We'll keep track of it all season. Stick with us. We're going to be right back with the Fast Dash. A couple of Duchesne High School players here on the set with us. Be right back.
Uintah Basin Medical Center now has a new 64-slice CT scanner, giving our patients superior imaging in a comfortable environment. Enjoy a positive patient experience with shorter scan times, improved patient access and positioning, and a video of relaxing scenes or cartoons for children. High detail, low dose features offer the ability to see the smallest diagnostic detail with up to a 60% dose reduction. When you need a CT scan, choose Uintah Basin Medical Center. You'll be glad you did.
Have a great first day of school, sweetie. Buckle up.
Good night, honey. Buckle up.
Buckle up. No, okay, I'm gonna tell him.
If you love someone,
Hey, Dad,
tell them to buckle up.
buckle up.
Welcome back to the Sports Spin. We're just going to boogie on down to the Fast Dash. Well, welcome to the Fast Dash. I've got 2 of the mighty Duchesne Eagles with me. Thanks for joining us, guys. I know it's a long way to drive. You were just with the coach the whole drive over, so it was extra long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, terrible. All right, with me I've got Cade Lamborn. Say hi to all the ladies out there, Cade, and Weston Polson. And Weston, you told me you could beat anyone on your team on an arm wrestle. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're gonna have to find out if that's true. We're gonna get the whole Duchesne Eagles team here with us and find out if that's right. We're going to do the Fast Dash. I don't know if you guys have seen this segment yet or not, but what we're going to do is put a minute up on the clock. We're just going to throw some questions at you. Let's see how many you answer them and how you answer them. And we'll let the audience decide which one of the 2 of you is, not better looking. We know neither one is, but which one's smarter. Here we go. You guys ready? So up on the clock, 1 minute here on the Fast Dash. And we're off. Batman or Superman?
Superman.
Superman. How about that? Burger King or McDonald's?
Burger King.
Wow, we got a little bit of a Walmart or Kmart?
Kmart.
Yeah, blue light special right there. Okay, Hillary or Trump? Trump. Well, there's not a good answer to that one. Is that what you're saying? Truck or a car?
Truck.
Yeah, we live in Truck USA, don't we? Best basketball movie ever?
Space Jam.
Space Jam. That's right. 5 minutes early or 5 minutes late?
5 minutes late.
5 minutes early.
Wow. You're running laps a lot, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. Rock or country, guys?
Rock.
Rock and roll. Here we go. Best basketball player ever?
Michael
Curry.
Jordan.
Curry or Michael Jordan? And neither one of you said Stockton or Malone, huh? March Madness or NBA playoffs?
March Madness.
NBA playoffs.
Yeah, let's go NBA. Ford or Chevy, guys?
Ford.
Chevy.
Yeah. There we go. A little bit of a. Would you rather your date come in flip-flops or high heels?
I don't know. Flip-flops, I guess.
Right, that's assuming you
Depends
have a
how
date,
hot
right?
she
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, there we go. That's the end of the Fast Dash. Want to thank these 2 guys for coming here all the way from Duchesne to join us here on the Sports Spin, presented by Uintah Basin Healthcare, health and healing, every person, every time. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, and we'll see you next week.